We'll get this eventually.
Hi for that intro.
I don't think so.
Jason, don't do a hit.
We're having a threesome.
All right. So, welcome back, guys. We've got Jasper here today. Woo! Hello, poor boy.
Hi.
Welcome to the table. You're gonna get hit a lot.
That's true.
So you're gonna hit.
That's a 2-3 so far.
All right. Do we have any announcements?
Yeah.
We do.
gay, yeah.
All right. Let's jump into the journey.
Okay. Well,
Jason, we knew that.
Thanks.
okay. So I'm gonna remind everyone. Our Instagram is at Hey Dungeon Master. Our YouTube is Hey Dungeon Master. Our Twitter is at HeyDMOfficial. And our Twitch is twitch.tv/Hey Dungeon Master. It's a lot of stuff. But we put up like 5 videos on YouTube the other day, so there's a lot of more content, and as well as last week's. That was intense. And if you didn't see the Instagram and Twitter posts that I made shortly after I put up the videos, we have a PayPal now.
I made that.
So thank you to Alec for motivating us enough to get that up and running,
We
and
love you.
for you to making that. Thanks,
Where's
Jason.
our wedding?
What, Jason?
It's for Alec.
Oh, okay.
Thank
Okay.
It won't fit.
Okay.
It fits partway on your finger. It's fine.
Okay, so if you want to sponsor us, donate to us, anything, you can help us get equipment, well, better equipment, and
That's not that hard.
And food when we record.
no, they're not paying for
Donate
our food.
today and pay a hungry Jason.
Or you know, pay for me and Danny to drive
Get me.
half an hour and an hour in.
That's true.
Every weekend.
You can pay me for emotionally damaging people you love.
Yeah, that.
So you shouldn't.
Yeah. So, if you want to look at that, I
Unless
put
it's
up the
totally
links
dry.
on Instagram and Twitter, but for those of you watching right now, it's paypal.me/Hey Dungeon Master. So, yeah.
Are they stale?
I hope not.
Okay, well, that's all I've got, but thank you for tuning in. Sorry we're a little late. We leveled up.
We found
Yeah.
a puppy.
Level up. I got a puppy.
Oh, that should have been in the announcements.
It
Yeah.
is the announcement.
Oh.
I got a puppy and he's tiny and adorable and his name is Roy and I love him.
Very important things.
Based off the anime. No.
Oh, yeah. We're not
Here.
sponsored by anime.
I'm actually gonna post one of the pictures that Jasper took to the Instagram.
Sorry, continue. We don't have
Alright.
much time.
So we left off very emotional time. Very, very emotional.
Yeah.
Half of us were
Okay.
crying, it's fine.
You don't have to flip me off. You don't have to flip me. Okay, I love you too.
Thank you.
We ready to start? I guess.
Yeah.
Are we starting right then? Because,
Alex says he can't donate today.
That's
Thank you very
fine,
much.
Alex. You don't need to donate.
oh my gosh, you don't need to donate today.
My boy.
Well, you can donate
He can't
tomorrow.
see you do that.
Reese.
Oh, I'm joking with you. Alright, so we'll jump right in then. Yeah, very emotional. You guys were at the beach house. A lot of shit went down. Ciza showed up with a baby manticore and a chalice. There was a big fight. Belle freaked out. Shit is shirtless.
Important
Whole shit ton of
things.
stuff. So we're gonna cutscene this.
Oh my gosh.
People are screaming.
So it's about 10 minutes later.
Wow.
You guys have managed to calm down a little bit.
A little bit.
You've gathered yourself a little, and like you've formed sort of like a ring around the island in the kitchen. Each of you have taken a stool. Belle had finally passed out on the couch. And by passed out, I don't mean like literally she'd slept.
Okay.
She's asleep.
Oh,
She's not like passed out and dying.
yeah.
So you'd left her to get some shut eye before gathering around to hear the wonderful tale of Ciza, who disappeared for a night and showed back up looking like she'd been through the ringer. Yeah, so Ciza stands at one end of the island. The baby manticore, who has been introduced as, you guessed it, Alec.
Oh my god. Okay.
You're a baby manticore. Love me. He's kind of like swatting at an orange.
Tabik?
Oh,
Did we
yes.
show them Tabik?
Oh, very important. We got a Tabik mini.
It's not in
It's
the
beautiful.
Over. There we go.
He's white, so you can't really tell, but he'll be himself
Painted.
Oh
eventually.
my god, you just can't say that he's white like that.
Put him next to Shyn again. Oh.
It's kind of him sitting beside Shyn because his like thing is so white is like the weirdest contrast. I'm sorry.
So Alec is currently like swatting around with like a kitten with a ball of yarn, but he's playing with an orange. So that's adorable, and he's doing that on the island counter. Ciza has placed the chalice thing down on the island right in the center, and you guys can all see it now, and it is very ornate. It is kind of this mix of gold and silver. It is outdid in golden pearls around the side. Very, very beautiful contrast and coloring, and just it's an ornate fucking goblet thing. This like next level high key. It's empty, but whenever you move it, it kind of makes like a sloshing sound, which is a little bit strange. But it doesn't do much.
Is it one of those cups that has like
the liquid.
the
on the
liquid
inside?
on yeah.
Yes, no, that's it.
I
You've
might know
cracked the
what it
case.
is.
You've ruined it. The entire arc's over.
Okay.
That was the entire arc.
Bye guys. I don't have to be with Baz anymore in this stupid
you.
trip.
Fuck you!
Fuck you.
Well, evidently they haven't
I'm
calmed down.
telling a story!
No one cares about
So
your story.
Ciza begins on her story now, and this is where the cutscene begins because it's great. So we watch as Ciza and Monty, who have now left and kind of found a room to the side, they have a tense discussion. It seems that Monty had arrived a few weeks earlier on the back of the Manticore, who had been sucked into a storm that had fast approached only days after he'd left your guys' company.
Alec is
I was
very
just gonna pass
happy.
it around so
They
we
made
can
me
talk.
my favorite thing in D&D. So.
I got you, bud. So Monty had arrived on the island a couple of weeks earlier during a very bad storm. The Manticore, who he had become good friends with, had been out.
In what way? We were all dying. Well, we were all dying to know yesterday when we asked Hunter. What way?
Not in a sexual way.
I mean,
They're
I
just
did say,
friends.
yes,
Yeah.
keep on.
He did say that. So.
I did not. The Manticore, which
We may
had
have audio
attacked your
recording.
guys' ship, Monty had found out he had attacked your guys' ship in order to feed his young baby Manticore.
So they did both.
What the fuck, Jason?
I meant to say give him no.
What?
I meant to say he's going to give him food, but then it came with
But
a
then
they
you-
did bone.
That's not even
I know.
Okay.
My mind is.
The Manticore had been captured and taken to the stables by the head of the arena director, kind of Jormel, who's in charge. Jurassic Park guy, the half-orc who is in charge of the monsters to stock the arena. Monty had managed to sneak off with the young child, Alec, who Ciza gestures to the small one, and over the weeks has made a sort of underground living for himself. He started a brawling ring, a betting squad, and he's gathered a couple of people who are willing to help out on a rescue mission of sorts. Kind of an underground rebellion against Talos, who has been keeping people here on this island for a very long time. Ciza had met up with a couple of these underground rebels, and together they had managed to sneak their way into the arena, up into Talos' personal temple, to a secret treasure room behind the throne.
Oh, wait.
I know, you can keep your applause for later.
What the fuck?
There'd
You
been
were
a
sneaking
bit of a
without
mishap
me?
during which there'd been a bit of a mishap during which one of the rebels had fallen into a pit of acid and died.
Oh my god.
Well then.
But you had managed to find your way into the secret treasure room. and upon entering had witnessed quite a sight. A statue of a large woman, very, very, very beautiful. It's done in gold and silver detailing, and it possesses the head of a cat.
How hot?
Like
on a scale of 1 to 10.
I mean, I'm pretty sure
12.
Ciza just rolled a yes. She is attracted.
Okay.
it is a statue.
Damn it.
And the strange thing is, not only had the woman had a cat head, she had been crying. The statue itself had been weeping. And the tears, which had been a somewhat like silverish mix, had been falling down and draining into the chalice, which she gestures to now. And she explains, Monty had explained of a sorts what this chalice was. And she begins to tell you the story of a woman named Numenara. Now, Numenara...
No, copyright.
Numenara was a...
Page
How would you
flipping.
say? A fellow of the goddess Charis. The goddess...
Or a fellow?
Mistress, you gather, but not known.
Of who, sorry?
Charis. And you can roll a religion check if you want to check who that is.
Yas, bitch.
Yeah.
Come on, my bitch.
No.
What's all this
Fuck.
I think that's an
10,
11.
17.
You will know because he explained it to you.
Okay,
perfect.
But
I got a
23.
22.
all right.
I rolled 19.
So
Sorry, I'm rolling dice because my dice are apparently shit.
you guys came together. You've heard of Charis. She's not a very common deity these days, but she was pretty big a while back. She was the goddess, the deity of hedonism, fest halls, and sensual fulfillment. She was a sex goddess. And,
I mean, they can't see.
and
so.
she got around. Numenara was one of her mistresses, of a sorts. However, during the time with Numenara, the girl had fallen in love with the goddess, and determined to force the goddess to stay with her, she had begun to make a magical charm potion. Now, the potion was made from Charis' tears herself. Whenever the goddess would cry, Numenara would steal the tears away to make a charm potion that would allow the girl to keep the goddess with her. Eventually, a hero had come along and killed Numenara, and the goddess had left, but the chalice had been lost. Now, it seems, and Monty explains this to you because the god Talos, and his wife, a goddess by the name of Umberlee, have been using the chalice to keep visitors to their island resorts sated, of sorts. Kind of like a roofie. They've been roofieing people.
Oh my
God.
Including Bess.
They've been roofieing people in order to keep them in kind of a dreamlike state and allowing them to keep them here where they can draw power from their joy and life force and all that.
So do you mean like also the drinks that all of y'all took when you were on the ship?
I did not.
Oh,
I
you
did.
didn't.
I took 5.
I literally said last episode
Right,
that
and
I could avoid eating things because
Sorry,
I
yeah.
had rations.
So Monty explains that
Children on hot
while
tub.
the potion itself is most commonly found, it's more potent in the drinks and food of the island, because the chalice drains into the river that runs underground through the volcano and out into the sea. It's very difficult to not become under the influence of this. You guys had managed to steal the goblet away, and Monty had parted with you, shoving the small manticore into your hands and saying it would help when the time came, before he disappeared into the night with a couple of rebels to draw the attention of some big diversion he's got planned, and returned you back to your beach house, where you had found them.
Monty's just like the smartest out of all of us.
Yeah.
I still want his pocket watch. Though.
So there you go. That is Numenera's goblet. So once a day, it can be used on a successful Arcana check to brew a charm potion.
Ooh.
No, you're not using it, Baz.
So, you're now the proud owner of the chalice.
Do not give it to Bass.
No,
Don't give it to the bard.
What am I? Well, who am I gonna charm?
And here you go.
Literally, you did try to
anybody.
charm Belle.
That was before I knew how young she was.
Oh my god.
What?
I'll just.
Did I grab a
very young.
blanket before
Yeah.
sitting down?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Baz
You
was
grabbed.
going to
You
charm
managed to
Belle.
grab a throat off
Okay.
the couch.
Wait, did we notice anything?
Roll me a perception check.
Wait, for what?
You've been trying to beg us to do this for a while.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, of course I got
Oh.
a bad
Oh
roll.
my gosh. It
Because
just
you
shakes.
would have at least
Okay.
seen my chest.
Yeah, guys.
Also,
Um,
with a 22, and because, I don't know, I heard something about Talus's wife before, like, do I know anything else about...
Amberly?
Yeah,
Awesome. Glad you asked.
okay.
He's a fan of you.
And I'll roll for this.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I'll give you a rundown. So you've heard of Umberly before. She's a little bit of a difficult goddess to miss. She was referred
Do you
to
wanna
once
say
upon a time as the Bitch
Okay.
Queen. And that is canon. It is on the wiki,
Oh my god.
which is the best thing I've ever heard, and I love her. She was an evil sea goddess, most often worshipped by sailors or people traveling by sea out of fear of her destructive powers. So she was a goddess that controlled the sea, and for a very, very long time she was known as a very wrathful and evil goddess. A couple of centuries ago, however, she seemed to cool down. No one's quite sure what the reasoning behind that was, but she no longer became a wrathful goddess. She seemed to be quite a nice goddess in turn. And a lot of her worshippers defected from her to other evil deities. Though a couple did transfer into the more neutral state that she had taken on. No one's actually heard quite a little bit about her. She used to be a very, very large goddess and a very important one, but she's kind of lesser known nowadays.
She retired.
Kind of.
Similar, yes. But for whatever reason, she's just kind of dropped off the grid a little bit. But you do know her symbol, two waves crashing in opposite directions from each other, kind of curled.
Okay.
So you do know that.
Maybe she's on the island.
What?
Maybe she's on the island.
On the island? Yes, probably.
Did any of you roll anything higher than a 10?
No,
Oh, yeah,
got
I
a
did.
7.
20.
You rolled a 20?
Plus
Yeah, I saw it.
15
It was
plus
a 15
5.
plus 5.
Shit.
I got a 9 total.
9,
They
10, and a low number that you were very upset about.
Yes.
he
So,
rolled a 3.
Tabik, you're a little bit distracted by Belle, but you do manage to catch sight, because these two are arguing over each other at the time. When Shyn had originally made his way down the stairs, you did manage to glance a couple of things. Shyn?
Just
Did
the
you
front,
glance?
probably?
Yeah.
So... I don't know if he would have seen it in detail, because he was across the room.
Yeah.
His
Not
pendant.
too much detail, but...
So you definitely would have noticed that he's wearing the pearl that he had bought from Silver Scales, along with the shoes, and then also around his neck there is what looks to be an oval-shaped pendant that you're far enough away that you could probably tell that it's a dagger, but you wouldn't be quite sure what's around it. But it does have an amethyst and a ruby on it.
A rogue necklace.
And then on, what is it? It's right over his heart, right?
Yeah.
Right over his heart is a mark similar to the one on our wrists, but that one only has, 2 dots underneath? Yeah.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
No, so you did notice that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you guys are currently sat around, Kiza has finished explaining her adventure, with the underground rebels of Ellison, and her magical chalice, and her new manticore baby.
It's mine.
So, you can either discuss, or I can send you all to bed.
No, I'm not talking
And
to
you will not be arguing.
Calm emotions is over.
Yeah, which reminds me, calm emotions, like, do I know that I was affected by it, and then, like...
Oh yeah, how long does it last?
Yeah.
Only a minute.
Okay, yeah. I'm not talking to you either, then, apparently.
You know that
It's
he
just
cast
a
it?
very large range of silent treatment.
Shyn. Good night. I'm going to bed. Ciza.
Are you just
Good
directly
luck on your new child.
Charlotte?
Tabik. Have a nice night.
It just passed.
Belle.
Is this
Good night.
I'm gonna go up the stairs.
Cannon hair
to
flip.
He has hair longer than
So you go to bed.
I think before he goes to bed, because of the thing that I have planned,
Baz, you're a horrible dwarf.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Shyn's actually going to turn to Charlotte.
Fuck you.
Upstairs.
Charlotte, I was planning to try to speak with my deity. I was just wondering, seeing as you've already been to the temple, if you could provide me with any advice.
Well, is your shirt still off?
Yeah, I'm wrapped in a fucking throw. I'm wrapped in a fucking throw.
Well, yeah, but do I notice anything now? And then I was just like, wait a minute,
I
he
think
doesn't
he's-
have his
No,
armor
he's
on.
got it like covered. He's
It's-
got like he looks like one of those like blanket couch blankets.
Oh.
Snuggie.
It's a
So,
snuggie.
like, Dylan
it's a
when he's
snuggie.
tired.
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Shyn's in a snuggie.
Shyn's basically in a snuggie.
Okay.
A pink one.
No, he is in a snuggie. Not basically a snuggie. A snuggie.
His snuggie? What color is said snuggie?
Fantasy Snuggie. We're not
It's-
sponsored by Snuggie.
It's like a lilac.
That's
It
fine.
matches with the aesthetic of the beach house.
Yeah, okay. Any advice?
Yes, just with communion with deities. It's not really something I've had time to do before.
I could come help you if you'd like.
If you'd have the time, that would be much appreciated.
Sure. I do actually need to check around for something else relating to that sea witch, but alright.
As player to player, I've been threatened by Reese. Please look around.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Don't
gonna
worry, I completely understand that because Reese was really upset.
It was so
For
angry.
the viewers, Reese got very, very angry with me because when Baz and I were in there,
You're told to look around.
yeah,
So
I
many
looked
hints.
around and then you
So
were...
many hints, and you walked out the door to get a jar of fucking sand.
I was very
They even gave you 10 extra
concerned.
minutes to look.
I'm sorry, I thought you were just like, yeah, you didn't roll high enough. I'm like,
Well,
okay,
now
let
you
me just
can-
leave then.
Now you can go with Shyn.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Though he's gonna probably have to go and book an appointment in the morning.
Or we could sneak in right now.
You have water aerobics in the morning. You can go to bed.
No, we
God,
don't.
no.
No.
Oh no.
Baz would literally kill Charlotte if we missed it. Except Charlotte still wants to. I don't know.
He
I
might
don't know.
kill Charlotte anyway.
That's true.
Is it unprofessional of me to eat a cookie?
No.
No.
Because
No,
they're very good.
as long as you give me
Can
one.
you pass me one too?
I haven't even tried
Yeah,
one of those
pass
yet.
it.
That's
So
so
good.
good.
They're
Can I
good,
get a
but
drink?
they have white chocolate on top. I don't know if you like white chocolate.
Pass those cookies. This is fudge. This is
It's
fudge.
basically fudge, yeah.
It is fudge.
No,
It's cookie
I'm
fudge.
eating cookie. You guys discuss. That's why I'm eating a cookie. Cookie?
I can't remember what I said last.
This is prime D&D gameplay, guys.
Yeah, we're all
no,
eating
I-
cookies.
It's a food that's not crunchy for once.
He.
Yeah, Charlotte's.
I'm gonna say Shyn kind of
I don't
nods
think
to
so.
Charlotte because he already said it would be appreciated if she came, so he's gonna nod and then go to bed because he's tired.
Sleepy boy.
He's exhausted. He was just sobbing.
Fine, then I'm going by myself.
I don't think we're going right now.
No,
There's
I'm
a
going
storm
right now.
Outside.
I'm going right now.
Have you forgotten about the storm?
I don't care about
You
that.
also
storm.
have to have an appointment to go into the temple.
Oh no, I'm sneaking in.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I don't think that's a good idea.
Our DM just laughed.
We literally
Yeah,
have a
laugh,
whole
whatever.
fucking day tomorrow that we only really have one thing planned for.
And that's in the morning.
Yeah, and Charlotte's gonna.
And is the arena the next day after, like after tomorrow?
After tomorrow. The day after tomorrow.
Stop knocking the table!
We have the same mind. High five.
If you actually watch the stream, it's constantly.
Yeah,
Maybe we shouldn't touch anything.
maybe.
Same.
Dylan.
Sorry, we're big assholes today.
There's a crack of thunder.
Great, I leave.
Are you seriously trying to sneak into the temple?
Yeah,
Spaz is having a
Okay,
such
well,
a
like-
nice dream
It's
about
like midnight.
Charlotte getting murdered.
yeah, it's like midnight. I just finished my appointment. I'll just be like, oh, I just forgot something. It's fine. Okay.
Alec falls off the island, chasing after the orange.
Oh, what a baby.
Okay.
He's fine. He just stumbles. He's like a cat.
Why?
I love him so
Why are you so insistent on going tonight?
Because it's Charlotte.
Because I probably
And there's
left
an
something
angry-
there.
There's an angry dwarf
I'm
upstairs.
sleeping.
Yeah, Baz is not here to say that I can't do it, so I
Tabik
can
is
do
here to
it.
say that you can't do it.
Tabik also casts Calm Emotions on Charlotte, and
Trying to
Charlotte
get
doesn't do it.
everybody to calm down.
What?
No, go ahead.
Are you laughing at me?
What?
No, I rolled a 3.
There, see, we're good! I'm going!
What was the roll for?
Don't worry about it.
Okay, are there any lizards outside?
Ryan.
Great. I'll take
Why
Ryan.
not Gus? He's my favorite.
Goose is still missing.
Goose, not Gus. Damn it.
Okay. I take Ryan.
Alright.
No, he's just a little weird. That's such a nice way of putting
Guess
it.
nobody's else going with me?
It's just
Weird.
No?
He went to bed. He was planning on going the next day.
Okay,
I
well,
need you
And you
to
didn't-
make a dexterity saving throw.
okay.
And you didn't actually talk to Shyn about going tonight.
Oh,
That's
No.
3.
They have different
All
rooms.
right.
Love me.
You take 4 points of bludgeoning damage
From what?
as during your ride, a crack of thunder and a strike of lightning against a closed palm tree cause Ryan to buck wildly, and you go flinging off his saddle into the tree.
Huh. Okay. I'm gonna walk then.
Danny.
I don't like that lizard anymore.
Ryan takes off into the jungle.
Yeah. I don't care about Ryan anymore.
Can I pick up my pet, my newfound baby?
Yes, you pick up Alec. He's a very adorable child.
Can you sing his ABCs?
I don't know if you've ever seen a... Think of it like this. But like
Baby.
Tiny.
I hope
that big.
Okay.
I'm gonna start rocking him.
Also, he's got no spikes in his tail.
Okay, I'm gonna start rocking him.
Yes. He yawns like a small animal would,
Okay.
I guess. I don't know.
Speaking of which, we didn't send you a picture, but my puppy yawned, and it was the most adorable thing ever.
I was
I
gonna
am
take a
unfairly-
video, but I didn't.
We should have like a side channel. called
Also,
the dog-
apparently,
the
he's
animals
only
of the
gonna get
video.
like this big.
That's great. Alright,
I'm sorry, I have
okay.
a puppy.
So the rest of you are going to sleep?
Yeah, it's bad.
Carry Belle upstairs.
Okay, yeah, you put her in a bed.
Sleep.
I like this.
How many beds do we have? There's just like.
Alright,
I love him so much.
Charlotte's not taking up
so Kiz, I'm gonna say you're
That's a
going to bed.
baby manticore.
Okay, yeah. You curl up with Alec. He's
Well,
like,
I don't want to because it's
dead
on
asleep,
DeviantArt.
like, he's doing that
So-
weird thing that dogs do sometimes where they sleep on their back, and he's got like one foot up in the air and the other foot's like out next to his head. Just, he looks ridiculous. And it's adorable. And you fall asleep. Charlotte, you get about 3/4 of a way to the big house before you notice that the lights in the big house are all on. Every single one of them.
Okay.
And there is a low, steady drumbeat coming from the house.
It's a sacrifice, guys.
Sacrifice.
Probably.
Sacrifice.
No.
Also, I felt splitting the party was never a good idea.
Yeah.
hey, that's why I asked if any of y'all wanted to come, but I guess I'm doing this mission on my own.
Well, I'm pretty sure if Baz went with you, he would have died. Also, wait,
There you go.
so Charlotte, wouldn't Charlotte be missing all of her health? Because it's still the same night?
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Sorry, I'm at 20, no, it's at 30 before. Now I'm at 26. 26. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
Do you have healing spells?
Yeah.
Okay, you're fine.
Okay, do I see anything that would get me noticed, or that I would notice?
No, there's a couple of people just walking in and out of the house. It doesn't seem too bad. It had quieted down in the evening just before you guys had left. But it seems that now it's early morning, about 1 a.m. It seems the house is back to being just as lively as it had been in the afternoon, though.
Okay. Where do I go to get to the prayer room?
Okay, you walk in. Lorraine, the little halfling woman who sits at the desk normally, is not there. The desk has a back in a couple hours sign.
Okay.
But you managed to make your way down. The double doors leading into the temple are locked. And you can hear a faint drumbeat from inside.
Can I hear anything else?
Roll me a perception check.
Or
Probably a
notice or
spooky
anything?
ceremony.
Plus. 20.
20. Alright. So you hadn't paid much attention to it earlier, based on the fact that the big house is on the beach and such. But there had been a trail of water leading from the porch. It had disappeared in sections, but it does seem to be leading to the temple. And you can see a kind of pool of water has begun to collect at the bottom of the door.
Yeah, that is Talos, Jason. Well, no, that could be his wife. It could
Or,
be
you know,
either of
any
them.
number of things.
That's true. That's true. Okay.
It's our water aerobics.
Can you
class.
go home?
Can you go home?
It's sorry. It's leading into the temple. Like it passes right by me.
Yep. You followed the trail the entire time, basically.
Okay.
You hadn't paid attention to it because it is on the beach and stuff, so it's pretty common for there to be like water from people coming off for swims or whatever. But it's quite clearly following a specific pattern. It's now that you pay attention to it, it is a lot more water than you'd be expecting for someone to just drip.
So like it's like a mini river, except there's no dip for the river to be in.
Almost, yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like a slime trail off a slug,
Darn.
but
Okay.
water.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense.
It's locked.
The doors won't open. They don't have they are stone doors, and they didn't have a specific lock or anything, but when you try and push them open, they just refuse to.
I'm going to blink.
Blink.
Yeah.
Alright.
I guess.
Does Blink make you go through doors?
You can move 10 feet in the direction.
Don't you have to see it, though?
Yeah.
It's not that I can go through doors. I'm just
Checking to
seeing
see?
it. Yeah, I'm just checking.
Okay, did you succeed?
Yep.
Awesome. You blink, and I'd like you to make another perception check.
Okay.
With advantage.
13, 14 plus 5, that's 19.
19. Wonderful. So you notice 3 things. 1, the trail of water is glowing. 2, there is a light that seems to pulsate through the cracks in the actual door. And 3, curled off in a corner on kind of a bench that's being pushed against the wall, is a pseudo-dragon. And it is done in emerald green scales. It's a bit pudgy. And you realize it's Trina. He's sitting on a bench, and he is fast asleep, with a couple of weird looking flowers around him. Like fruit almost.
Trina! Is he following us everywhere? No, I think they took him. Okay, I go over to Tree Nut.
Alright, yeah. He doesn't stir.
Can I wake him up?
What have you done?
Oh no. What did you do to my
Sacrifice.
baby boy?
Sacrifice.
No! Wait, what's up with the flowers around him?
Okay. Roll me a nature check.
Okay.
We'll see what you know about it.
She knows fuck
No,
all.
it's a 2.
That's a 2?
But
Yeah, guys, careful with the yelling. Alex, that's just loud.
it's a 3.
A 3.
It's
Awesome.
an out of my ears.
Yeah. They look pretty. Kind of odd, but flower-like.
Can I pick Tree Nut up?
So you pick Trina up. There is thankfully a slight stir, so you know he isn't dead or anything.
Thank goodness.
But he does seem to be asleep.
Can I take some of the flowers?
All right, yeah. Roll me a Constitution check.
Oh boy. Okay.
I wonder what your cat is on.
Saving throw, I should say.
19.
19? All right. Yep. You pick up a couple of the flowers and stuff, and just kind of bring them up, and there's actually quite a heavy aroma now that you're standing this close to it. And for a minute, you get kind of like a little bit dizzy, a little bit like drowsy almost, and then it kind of fades away, and you manage to stuff a couple of them into your bag. So you gain 4 flowers.
4 flowers. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, all the shells are really squeaky.
Stop squeaking them then.
Yeah.
I can't move then.
Donate to our PayPal so we can get better chairs.
If we get better chairs, can we have this like this swirling?
Oh my god!
No.
Jason worries about the
more
important.
trouble with the swirly chair than
fall
anything.
over.
Jason worries about the important things in life.
Can I swivel on my chair?
Yeah. So, can I try once to open the doors?
You can. I can tell you they're not going to. They're like whatever it had been. You tried pushing against them and stuff.
Can I like?
tried to like?
I
You
have
tried
a
pushing. You
crowbar.
tried pulling. You want to try and crowbar them open?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Try.
Do I get advantage?
I will cancel the disadvantage.
Oh, okay. Is it just strength?
You're also holding a
Yes.
dragon.
Strength check.
Strength check. 17.
17? Alright. So the doors don't open fully. It seems, actually, as you're doing this, you're still blinked.
Yeah.
And you manage to see a crackle of what looks... You've seen magic quite a couple of times now. It looks like a slight crackle of almost magic that goes between the 2 doors. But you do manage to pry it open just enough that you can see a glimmer of what's ahead of you in the actual room. And it's a very strange sight. The first thing you notice is there are about 5 or 6 dark cloaked figures kind of positioned around the room in a loose circle. In the center of the room, currently sat upon the altar, is a large tank. Like a fish tank. And currently sitting half in, half out of the tank is what looks like one of those siren creatures you guys had faced.
Okay.
And it is the same gaunt face and stuff, but it is very little hair, gaunt face, sharp teeth and stuff. But it seems unwell. It's starting to yellow and pale, and it does not look quite as fit and fast as it would have been. It looks like it's dying. And you can see that the trail of water leads up to the tank where they've positioned it. You can also see that laid out around the tank are a couple of different candles and strange runes you're not quite familiar with.
Okay.
And you watch for a couple of minutes, and nothing too big happens. And then all of a sudden, there's a glimmer around the siren-like creature, and you watch as the gaunt face starts to fade into a smoother skin. Hair begins to grow, The nails shorten, and the tail forms into 2 legs. And there is a woman sitting in the tank. She has a shift on that you had noticed. The creature had been put into like a nightgown almost, something to give it some modesty. But it is now sitting in this tank. Long golden curls, 2 bright blue eyes. And it looks to be about mid-20s. And it is making eye contact with you.
So
You're all looking at me.
You look like you know who it is. You're like,
Yeah, and
So-
Reese laughed there. Oh god.
It's making eye contact with you. And one of the figures notices that it's changed, and he barks out in some language you don't know. You can't understand it, but it does sound kind of familiar. And another one of them turns towards the actual tank and stuff, and screeches something at this creature, and just as quickly as it had done, it back into the original form, the gaunt face and the lack of hair and nails and tail.
Crud. Okay. Yeah, no, hold on. This is... Blink is a minute. Bless you. If I were to cast one spell, Blink would drop, yes?
It's a concentration spell, I believe.
So,
So as long as you don't cast another concentration, you'll be fine. You can cast spells as long as it's not another concentration spell when your concentration is broken.
This may be concentration. BSM. I have no clue if this is concentration.
VSM?
BSM, yeah.
Vocal symbolic material. So you need to speak, you need to make a gesture, and you need to have the right materials.
You know what? Sure. I cast message.
Alright.
I just like towards the one thing in the tank.
Yep.
And I apologize. And I leave.
Alright, okay. So you see its eyes widen slightly, and it's still looking at you through the door, and it gives, like, it looks like it was a little bit, like, up at it. It's a little bit more joy, but it kind of sombers out, and it gives an understanding look, right? It's still sad, but it understands why you're doing it, and it nods, and then it curls up at the bottom of the tank, and the door shuts.
Okay, yeah, I've got to get out of here.
Yeah, no, you book it.
Okay.
You can no longer see Treenut because your blink has dropped.
Okay.
But you can still feel the weight.
Okay.
So you're able to keep a hold of him as you go, and you make your way back down to the beach house.
I don't have to roll for anything?
Nope.
Oh,
You'll be
thank
fine.
God. Okay.
You're fine.
I'm good. Okay.
And you're now sitting in the beach house. Everyone's gone to sleep. You have unconscious Treenut.
Crud.
Danny, are you a sorcerer?
Yes. Okay.
Why is Blink a 3rd level spell slot? Or a spell? Why do you have Blink?
No comment. Can I cast Lesser Restoration on...
Lesser restoration.
Yes.
Alright. Can you
Treenut?
describe what that does?
You touch a creature and can end either one disease or one condition affecting it. The condition can be blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned. Or, like, does that even work?
I'll allow that. So you cast that. There's a shifting in your arms, and a slight belch, as Treenut burps. And then there is a wet tongue licking up the side of your face. A flutter of what sounds like wings, and just as quickly as as solid as he'd been, just gone.
No!
Oh, no, I can't.
Okay. I don't know where he went.
disappeared into the ether. He's got places to be, people to see.
Things to do.
Alright, is anybody on the couch then?
Nope.
Okay, I'm just gonna lay on the couch.
Alright.
Most of us are asleep like normal people.
Yeah, so you take a...
Yeah, I'm just, yeah.
You fall asleep on the couch. So this will be a long rest for everyone, so HP, all that stuff. Reload your spells and items. What do we have on the agenda for the next day? Water aerobics.
Oh, frick.
Yeah.
Shyn wants to do some temple shit.
Yeah.
Alright.
Is Charlotte coming with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I just remembered I need to check a thing. Okay. It's next level. I forgot that I had checked. I had to check to see if when expertise goes up.
Okay. My alert's on Danny now, though.
Why?
Because Blink is a 3rd level, but you had it since, like, 1st level.
Okay.
Anyway.
Everything is fine. But also, you guys should be more worried about the sacrifice.
We don't know anything else he told us.
That's true. I don't know where y'all
Told you
at.
to wake me up.
I was trying to help Trina, and then Trina left. I was just like,
Trina was
okay.
like, lullaby.
Yeah.
Oh, you helped them?
Maybe.
Yes, look at those strange flowers.
What do I do for long rest?
That's true. Right.
So all of your HP is returned over a long rest.
And anything that's a daily use is back.
So if you rage, do you have your full rage stuff now?
Yeah.
Yay, it's back.
Here.
Yeah. So stuff like that and like daily spells and stuff like that. Which I have a surprising amount of.
So are we going before this water aerobics class?
I have to go and ask what time.
Can we skip out on water aerobics class?
I mean,
Probably the only thing Reese has planned for today, water aerobics. Can we skip it?
can we skip it?
You want to skip water aerobics class?
So
You're
wait,
going
I
to have to
go
take
all
it
the
up
way
the
back
dwarf
up to my
that's
max
one that
hit
wants you to
points?
do it.
I go all
I'm
the
pretty
way
sure the
back
dwarf
up
would be
to
fine
my
with Charlotte
Yeah, okay.
missing it.
Are you awake yet?
Give me 2
Charlotte's
seconds.
probably sleeping long because she was out for a while.
And I was gonna
Stop,
say,
stop.
Knock.
You don't need to carry hours of sleep?
No,
neither
I don't
do
think
I.
so.
No, you're fine. You don't have to.
I'm good, yeah.
3.
We did have
A
a
special
wake-up call.
little baby.
Not a baby.
You are 12.
Yeah, that's not a baby.
Multi-classing.
Also,
Anything under 13 is
I
baby.
finally what?
Well,
When does multi-classing happen?
You can whenever you decide.
yeah.
You can whenever, but if I remember correctly, it's better after level 5.
Yeah, that's what it says over here.
Yeah, I know that because my character for our side campaign is gonna multi-class. He has to, otherwise it won't make sense racially.
He's so scary.
I had to
Copyright.
make a
Right. copyright.
sorceress origin for him.
I don't like the look of this.
You guys do rise. Danny, I need you to roll percentile dice for me.
Oh, Daddy, what the fuck?
Oh, what have you done?
What?
He's gonna die tonight.
Probably. Percentile. There's that one. There's that one. Come on, baby, give me 100.
53.
53?
Yeah.
All right. So you wake up, and sat on the table in front of you is a bottle. And inside of said bottle is what looks like a kind of fizzy blue drink. The only difference is the bubbles seem to be floating down. There's a card next to the drink.
Messed up lava lamp.
With the familiar silver scales emblem on it. You take a minute to read it, and it is a thank you note for rescuing Addo's pseudo-dragon. And enclosed is a gift, a potion of water breathing. So you may add a potion of water breathing.
I did actually add tree nut to my treasures, so I'm gonna have to take that off.
Tree nut is a treasure.
That is adorable.
So you gain a potion of water breathing. And I will
Are you gonna
find
steal
that
it?
in a minute for you.
I only steal from Baz, haven't you noticed?
I'm gonna pull a trick. I swear to God, you're gonna reach and it's gonna be my dick.
Oh my god.
Dick in a fanny pack.
Oh my god.
Surprise!
Audio.
So, potion of water breathing allows you, upon consumption, it allows you to breathe underwater for 1 hour.
It's just your dwarven
It's a... Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. It's cloudy green, not blue. And the bubbles, they are flowing down, but they look like little jellyfish.
Whoa.
Can I kill Baz?
I would prefer to keep him alive for now.
For now? Can I kill him later?
We'll see.
Can I push him off a cliff?
Can a dwarf fly?
This is Jason
If he
telling
flaps
Dylan.
if he flaps his arms hard enough, he can.
He pulls magical wings out of his fanny pack.
Bye, guys! Are we awake, though? Can we...
Yes, you are awake.
Can we... Okay.
Oh, I just
What time?
realized.
It is.
Did we have our wake-up call?
You do get your wake up call. Did you set a time for your wake up call?
I think it was an hour beforehand.
All right. Yep. So it's about 9 o'clock.
Okay.
You get your wake up call. You have a 10 o'clock aerobics class at the main pool in the big house. Other than that, you guys are free for the day.
I'm going to walk over to Charlotte's room.
All right.
Charlotte doesn't have a room.
You don't?
No.
Charlotte's on the couch.
Charlotte never has a
slept in
room.
bed.
I'm gonna go... Who did I say was bringing with me? Oh, yeah, you. Technically, it was you, but I'm gonna go for you. Shyn's room. I'm gonna go to Shyn's room.
Okay.
Shyn!
Shyn's already awake and downstairs.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Like-
Baz is easily the last one to get up.
Oh my God.
Okay, Jason, elves only need 4 hours of rest. Shyn is probably...
Baz.
Tabik, I will also mention, Belle had left during the time when you were asleep. She had left a note that said she had to return to her job, but she will definitely be seeing you later tomorrow.
Shyn! Oh, he's probably sleeping. He walks downstairs, and he's sitting, you know what, Charlotte, and he goes,
Yeah, I'm on the couch, like, looking at the flowers.
Am I like in the kitchen making fantasy coffee?
Expecting them.
we got aerobics class, you guys, in an hour.
Yeah, no, we don't.
Yes, we do.
Blunt.
You might.
We do.
No, I'm not going.
Why not?
Because I have other stuff to do.
What other stuff?
Stuff.
What other stuff?
Stuff that you don't need to know about.
Nah, we made this agreement. I booked us
You
a
didn't make
surprise
an
appointment.
agreement.
Surprise!
I'm pretty sure I knew about it already.
Well, let's go.
I don't.
Get ready. This will help us bond because of last night. And me, Mr. Baz Van Ham Van Quinn, will put our differences aside if we go to this water aerobics class.
Can I have fantasy
Alright,
coffee?
sure. Do you want some flowers?
Sure.
Charlotte's an evil little shit.
Thank
And
you.
she's
That
great.
is so nice. That is so nice of you. Well, I didn't even try.
Yeah, give him the 4 flowers. Wait, no, sorry. Did I inspect them beforehand?
You can make a nature check with advantage because
Okay.
you spend a little bit of time looking over them.
Okay, that was a 5. That was a 13. 14.
14? Alright. You aren't sure what type of flower these are, but you have picked up, based on just what the effects you've seen already, that they induce a type of magical sleep.
Yeah, give him to Baz.
How many? 4 of them?
4 of them, so I need you to roll me a constitution saving throw.
He's on the top of the stairs. No, he's on the bottom now.
Well,
You'd be like, thank you. Oh, what? Constitution?
I don't know. Let's see.
Constitution, right?
Constitution.
Roll wrong, please.
2.
I was worried for 5 seconds, then I remembered that Shyn can't fall asleep by
What was
magic.
It's a 9. 11.
You feel very drowsy for a minute, and you chalk it up to just waking up,
Oh, man.
and then your head clears and you're fine.
Was it DC 10?
You just fucking barely made it.
Damn it.
You should have kept
Thank you,
like some
Charlotte.
of the flowers just in case.
Shyn.
You keep at least one.
I gave him all 4. I thought I was gonna have advantage for that.
Shyn. Wait. I go against the wall. Shyn, you wanna go to Aerobics? I send you up. You don't have to. You got like full bathing suit or something.
For what?
Full bathing suit, like you don't have to show your nips. You know. Some people don't like that.
Charlotte's very
I get the
confused.
self-confidence issues. I get it. I mean, look at
Is
this.
there another chair near me?
Honestly,
The chairs are bolted to the floor at this point.
look, I'm just trying to be a nice dude. I could ask Tabik, but he's on fire and he sweats fire.
He does not
can't
say.
read it.
Charlotte's very surprised now as to why.
Oh, don't
Baz didn't
hit
fall
Shyn in the
asleep.
head. That won't end well. Oh.
Do you want to go? You don't have to. I could ask Ciza. Where's Ciza? Ciza!
Mr. Benham,
Yeah.
do you want to look at those flowers again? They're very
Actually,
special
you're
flowers.
right. I haven't looked at the flowers close enough. I have to bring the flowers out
Very
again.
good.
And I look at them and I sniff them. Wow, these are very nice. Roll it again. No?
You're
Oh,
immune
wow.
to the effects for 24 hours.
Nice flowers. I'm gonna put them in this vase over here by Shyn.
I'm immune to falling asleep by magic.
It's fine.
They smell nice.
Yeah. Do they smell nice?
They do smell
I
nice.
filled it with water. So, get you guys a
Okay,
bathing.
I take the flowers out of the vase and I put them back in my bag.
You gave that to me.
Kill the flowers.
You gave that to me.
I don't care. I take them back.
Kids these days. Get your bathing suit. Let's go. We're gonna have fun.
I don't have a bathing suit. Also, I have prior engagements.
We made this the first day we got here.
You made it. I didn't. I planned before you.
What are you doing?
Stuff. I need to go
What time
find
do we
Tree
have?
Nut.
What time do we have to sign up for the
Who's
tournament?
that again?
The arena is. You
Oh,
have
is
to
that
sign
little-
up for the tournament.
Is that the little dog
Sign up starts
dragon that
at, I believe,
follows
7
silver
Okay.
skills
in the
around?
morning.
Is it just at
yeah,
the
And
big
it
house?
goes till about noon.
Is
It is at the big house.
Was that the one who ate my
So
shield?
if you're
or the
going to
one
sign
who,
up for
like,
that-
got me that dog?
You gotta
Well,
get on
I
that
think
next
that's what we were
hours.
planning to do was to
There was
sign up
one
for
who
that.
also drank out of my coffee cup
What?
in that diner place.
Oh. And I'm guessing
There's
while I'm there,
eight
I can make an
dragons,
appointment.
I'm
At
guessing
the
that's
temple.
all the scales we keep seeing. See the dragons everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Anyway,
No,
I will meet you there.
no.
Other scaly
Ciza,
things?
Hmm?
Other scaly things?
What?
Yeah.
you want to go to water aerobics?
Why the hell would I want to go to water aerobics?
Because it's fun.
It's not fun.
Get Charlotte.
It's not
You were
like...
I
sacrificing
think I'll stick with
people.
Charlotte today.
Who?
You didn't tell us anything besides
Just
that.
Oh, right.
sacrificing people. What?
Whoops. They're sacrificing people.
That's nice.
No.
Shyn, do you want to go?
I'd really prefer not to.
Baz,
You can what?
they're sacrificing people on this godforsaken island.
That's
Actually,
nice.
it's
Well,
not
that's
godforsaken.
incorrect.
That's nice. I'm going to go to Robert Aerobics to clean down and cool down.
I
Hopefully it's
had to
cold
save
water.
Tree Nut from these people.
I
Have
forget
fun
which
at
one
your
is
grandpa
Tree Nut.
class.
Ciza, how old are you?
Wait,
old is you?
how old are you?
I changed it from 200 and something to 143.
Okay, you're still older than me.
Still probably older than me. How old are you?
143.
Reese
Yes.
knows things.
You know what? Fine. I'll go by myself. You guys have fun. I'm gonna go do Robert Aerobics. I'll tell them that you guys had fantasy diarrhea or something. Gonorrhea, I don't fucking know. I'm not a doctor.
Well, actually,
throw my
Shyn
coffee cap
did
at
have
him.
a fantasy stroke. yesterday.
That's right, Shyn. You know what?
Can I just throw something at him? I'm
gonna go get ready. I will see you guys in like 5 hours. I'll be at the bar.
I thought you were going to your water
I am.
aerobics class.
After
That's
that,
right.
you
He
can
has a
find me in
vase.
the bar.
There's a vase filled with water, right?
It was just filled.
Okay, bye. I'm gonna go upstairs and get my bathing suit.
Damn it.
Okay, Alec has managed to crawl his way into your swim trunks and is now sleeping in them.
I shake it out.
It falls out and it like looks up at you with this betrayed look, and then it curls up on your foot and falls asleep again.
Kiza runs
Wait.
upstairs. My mother's adrenaline is kicking in! Noise.
I'll shake it off.
Okay.
And
it
then
just like sits. It gets shaked off, and then it goes a little bit away, and it just sits and looks at you.
It's a rough night, me too. And I grab my towel and like I wrap like the bathrobe around me that I got from Jesus Christ. The bathrobe from the massage I got.
Can I wait at the bottom of the stairs to throw water on him?
Alright.
I'm in my swim trunks now. In my bathrobe that I got from the massage place has my name on it. A great one.
It's a mess. I don't
And I have the towel on my shoulder. And do we have sunglasses? We don't have sunglasses.
We do. You guys got a pair of magical sunglasses.
I don't have those sadly.
Who does?
I don't
Not
know.
me.
Because they had a. I can't. The
I'm
effect
not
on them
sure
was
who got
really cool.
Yeah,
I have a
don't
floppy hat. Oh, I have glasses.
I don't remember the sunglasses.
That was probably you.
They had a cool effect on them.
Might be me,
I
yeah.
remember.
And I'm gonna walk down the stairs.
Alright. You guys watch Baz come down.
What am I rolling?
You're going to make a roll to hit, and Baz, you're going to make a dexterity saving throw. You guys will be
Do I
opposed.
add anything to it?
No, here. Make an athletics check, actually, for you.
Okay,
To see if you
because
And
that's
And you're making a dexterity.
that's an 18. Oh no.
20.
Oh.
Awesome, yeah, no. You managed to do it, and it gets the couch and the stairs wet, but Baz just kind of walks under.
And then I throw the vase on the ground.
You watch as Alec, who has appeared at the top of the stairs with his own towel, he's like,
Oh
like
no.
little cat style, he's using it to drag it down the stairs after him. And he kind of like, he steps around the shards, and then begins to follow Baz to the door.
Are you telling me that, like,
The cat's
Shyn
going
just
to
threw
aerobics
water
with him.
all
Oh my
over
god.
me?
Oh, oops.
I'm telling you that you guys have had this planned for too long, and I need more people, so the cat's going to fucking water aerobics.
I'm gonna turn around and like pick up the cat and just like put him on my head.
It's a manticore.
It is a
Manticore.
manticore, but we'll call it a cat, because it's adorable.
I'll put the cat on my head.
Kizzle
and
looks
I'll
at
walk-
you and says, "You better be a good babysitter."
I'm a father of 5 children.
And you
That
left
doesn't
them
mean
all.
you're good.
I'm going to this to cool down, and if you make me angry, Charlotte,
Baz, just leave. Just leave.
I will. Thank you very much, Tabik. Adios, amigos. And I turn around and I close the door behind me.
Yeah, sure.
You do hear though, I do swear a lot in Dwarvish. I'm like, that fucking
Yeah, no, you make
child
Doyle.
on my nerves.
Do you guys want to do anything else for the day, or
For
the rest of you? Is there anything else you
I
guys
know-
are planning to do?
We were planning on going to the temple, and then are we signing up for the arena?
Oh, right. I was supposed to go do that. Okay. That's the plan. Who has those magical sunglasses, though?
Apparently
What do
I
the sunglasses do?
They cast True Sight. They have
Oh.
the True
Oh.
Sight magic on them, so they
Yeah.
can see through invisible spells and stuff.
Holy, well, I should have used those last night.
Yeah, they work instead of, like, for seeing things.
Yeah.
Isn't it like a constant sight thing?
Yeah, it's a constant True Sight. The lenses are magically doused.
Okay.
So they cast True Sight.
I'll actually
That
use
would've
those
been
when we go to the temple today.
Pretty sure Reese gave us those for a reason.
Yeah, maybe. I forgot about them.
Possibly.
Can I just wear sunglasses without a hat?
Yep.
Okay, good. I'm not wearing the hat. Big floppy hat.
I believe the floppy hat was originally intended for Shyn.
Okay, well.
Shyn's not wearing it.
Okay. I do have. Oh.
Heck, Shyn didn't even put on the swim shorts. He's still, like, wearing all his stuff.
Alright. So you guys are going up to the big house?
Yeah.
Alright.
Am I going to need to get a bigger backpack? Because I just counted all the equipment I have, and I have 109 things, but I have way more gold and stuff on me. Am I going to need a bigger fanny pack?
Depends on what you've got on you, right? So if it's a lot of smaller items, then you'll be
Would you like me
fine.
to read it out?
He's got bed sheets in there.
Give me your character sheet.
Here's my entire book, because it's in my book. There's also the flowers on the other page.
I don't want to sit down.
I keep
I
forgetting.
almost forgot you have rakes and stuff.
Those
They're
are the
hand
small,
rakes, though.
like hand rakes, though. Yeah. From the
The
first quest.
I always forget what I have in my inventory, because some of it would have been really useful.
Same.
I have it on a different sheet.
Sheep.
I'm.
On a different sheet. I know.
I might need to put
Bless
stuff.
you.
I might need to put stuff on a different sheet because this one's getting, like,
It's a little
Complicated.
full.
Yeah.
there's like ones down
No,
there.
you'll be fine.
Really?
Well, these are a lot of smaller items, right? They're big. They're big fanny packs. Like you've got a couple of different like pouches.
Okay.
It's like a Batman utility belt almost.
Okay.
Right, like you've got enough space for these. No, if you were carrying around a whole bunch of large items, then I would say you'd need a new bag.
Okay.
But you're fine. Yeah. The only thing that could possibly do anything is the bedroll, but I'm assuming you can just attach that to your back. All right. So you make your way up to the water aerobics room. It's in the main pool, which Lorraine is back at the desk, and she kind of points you up on the map towards it, and you manage to make your way there. There's a small lineup, not a lot of people, but there is definitely a couple.
Do I recognize any of them?
There's a couple of the halflings that you guys had witnessed last night, as well as the orcs. There is also the man, the old elderly elf.
Yeah.
Is currently with the group.
Does he still have those binoculars?
He does.
He's like looking at everyone's crotch.
He does have binoculars with him. They're all kind of lined up, and there is a small table that's been laid out with a couple of different floaties and such. There is also a smaller table next to it with pet devices. And you managed to hook Alec up into a bright neon pink life vest for manticores.
Can I get the floaties too for my arms?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you have to.
Can we match?
Yes, no, they're bright neon pink. There's also each of the people is required to wear arm floaties and a waist floaty, depending on your size. So all the halflings have them.
Yeah.
There's only one left for you, a bright pink flamingo,
Yes.
which you climb into. It's quite nice. There's some some sunscreen and typical weights and everything. But you outfit yourself and Alec, getting ready for this.
Can I put sunscreen on them?
Can I just say that this is the first time Baz has ever worn anything that isn't brown?
His swim trunks are brown though.
Yeah, that.
So you climb into this bright yellow, bright pink contraption. And the doors open to the pool, and you're let in. And the group makes their way around the side of the pool, over to where a small dwarfish man is sitting at the front.
Do I know the dwarf man?
You don't know the dwarf man. You do not. You haven't met him. You have, however, heard a little bit about him, and you do recognize that because he introduces himself as Gregory. And he says, "You can just call me Greg. I'm the head massagist, and I also run activities here.
Need a massage.
We'll be running through a couple of easy stretches, get you limbered up for the water aerobics class, and then we'll start. We've got about an hour today in class. A little bit of free swim at the end, just to make sure you're nice and loose.
Loose limb.
You guys want to kind of partner up, and we'll get you started. And you see the rest of the team all kind of groups themselves into pairs. The elderly elf going with an equally old halfling. Alec, of course, is paired with you as your aerobics partner.
He's a great swimmer.
He's adorable, and he's never seen water before.
Oh god.
So you go through the lesson, and I would like you to make 3 athletics checks for me.
Okay. Athletics. Ooh, plus 4. 12. What is that one? There's a 9.
13.
Thanks. That hit that. Can I re-roll it?
I will allow that.
Thanks.
Baz was just about to drown.
I was.
15.
15.
All right. So it starts off a little bit rough. You're kind of a little bit confused. He's doing a lot of like movements you just don't understand how a dwarf could possibly do, especially in the water. And then you begin to catch on and stuff, and you're like, "Oh yeah, no, I could do this. This is great. This is wonderful." And you're like weightlifting, and there's a part where you spin Alec above your head. And Greg tells you guys to skip the part where Alec's supposed to spin you, but you do this like circle around him in the water. And you do a couple of cute little games. You play a couple of games with the class as a whole and everything. You get a little bit of free swim time, during which you keep your life vest and everything on. Alec paddles around. It's very adorable.
Can I talk to Greg?
You can. First, I'd like you to put down a mark next to strength and dexterity.
Oh man.
Okay. You've buffed up a little bit.
Fuck yeah!
And you're limber. Yeah, so you're limber and buffed up a little bit.
Probably could have used the strength, but I don't think my dex needs any help.
Alright, yeah, so you approach Greg at the end of the class. He's kind of saying goodbye, waving people off, cleaning up the items around. And he sees you approach and says, "Hey, good class, bud?"
Yeah, it was pretty good. What's your name? I'm Baz Ben Quinn. How you
He
doing?
literally introduced himself.
I know you're Gregory, but like
Gregory Graham. Call him Greg.
I also
Friends
do not
call me
have
Greg.
paper.
Boss
Wait.
calls me Greg.
I have extra paper.
Employees call me Greg. Everyone calls me Greg.
What is it called?
Only my aunt calls me Gregory.
so your last name was again
Graham.
Graham.
Like graham
Like the
crackers.
pig.
Wow, my last name's Benham. Any coincidence to the Benham family?
Can't say. Probably have like a great grandmother or something. You know, dwarves.
Yeah, I know dwarves. I'm a dwarf. You're a dwarf. We're all dwarves.
Everybody is now a dwarf.
Where are you from?
Shyn, can you please grab me Baz's family tree
Oh
so I can fuck with this kid?
That's a big family.
You can see it on stream.
This is the family tree for Baz. It includes over 350 names.
378.
Because 300 and what?
78.
378 names because he hates me. Person.
Are you gonna try and find a Gregory on his family tree?
I might have actually put a Gregory. Good luck finding it though.
Excuse us while our DM just takes a vacation to look through beds.
Look at Reese on the screen.
You can barely even see Reese.
You can't see Reese on screen.
I can't see the
Too
laptop
many
at all
people.
from where I sit.
Okay.
I'm gonna sit here now. Do you want some extra eyes?
Oh no, I'm not looking for Gregory.
You buzzed.
Huh?
You buzzed.
Oh, sorry, Alec. That's a big tree.
It is.
Alright.
Okay.
Sorry. Thank you. Alright, so Gregory is from, if I can read this,
Do you want my map?
I cannot.
Ready to read?
I cannot read it. That's fine.
That's fine.
Alright. So Gregory explains to you, he is from a smaller town, deep within the Broadmoor Mountains,
So where I'm from?
called Tilt.
Tilt.
No, you're from Greymore Mountains. He's from the Broadmoor Mountains.
Oh, okay, thank you.
See, those are the upper.
I'm
But he does say, he takes a minute, and then he snaps his fingers a little bit. He says, "Come to think of it, I do remember a great uncle. Last name, something like that."
It was super serious.
Can you pass those?
It's so easy to forget the names on this sheet.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's 378 of them.
Oh my gosh.
There is a lot. I want to think
I was gonna take a picture,
What are these trash?
but it fell.
I don't know.
Get them out of here.
You gonna eat your fish?
I'm very. Oh my god, my bite hurts. I'm terrified.
No, he explains that he does have, come to think of it, a great uncle, by the name of Kringsgan, who did marry into a Benham family.
Do I feel any tingle around him?
Hmm?
Do I feel any tingle? Okay.
You can roll me a history check.
That's bad.
No.
With advantage or no?
With advantage, sure.
Where was
Because it's
history?
your family check.
History is +3.
Reese, how many have you eaten?
None.
You're fucking liar. If you get hyper like yesterday, I swear to God.
16. There's a lot of sugar in those. Please be careful.
You're fine. Yeah.
You
So
fucking
you
liar.
It takes you a minute to
I think
think
it's
back.
at least 3 now.
But you do remember that. I believe it's your grandfather, your great grandfather.
Would you like to look at the?
Yeah.
Can you not shake the table?
Oh, sorry.
I'll just point it out to you.
Okay. My writing is super thin, so let me come.
No one touched the table.
Raymond.
I'm gonna fucking kill everyone.
Oh man, that is like my okay, wait.
Wait.
1, 2.
Grandfather, great grandfather, great great grandfather, great 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 grandfather, great 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 grandfather.
What is his
So
name?
4 times great
What is his
grandfather.
name?
Raymond Kringscave. His great uncle.
It's Kringsgard, not Kringsgrave. That's fine.
Kringsgard? Kringsgard. My apologies.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So he is a, 47 times removed sibling. And Shyn is angry because his dog Tara fell. What a child.
I was about to put the final fucking one on top, you fucking asshole.
Yeah.
So, that, actually, no, my great
4 times. Great 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 grandfather.
grandfather's great uncle, I think.
No.
No, uncle.
Just your great 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 grandfather.
Okay.
4 times great grandfather
I'm so confused already.
is his great uncle.
Is his great uncle? Wow, I think we're related.
No kidding.
Well, you know dwarves.
So,
Fucking finally.
wow. So, do you know anything about, Yakin? I'm from Yakin.
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 Yeah, no.
No? Really?
No. You might have heard of it, but
Ever heard of the Ben Quinn mining business?
maybe? I don't know, man. They out of Greymore.
Oh, we had
You
a
are good.
Graymore, yes.
Yeah, no, we don't get a lot of outside contact. Broadmoor is a bit more closed off dwarven community.
Is there a reason why?
My chair's
We follow an older monarchy. Not really popular with the councils.
I feel that. I feel that now. Well, I'm
Right in your heart.
literally bored of this island, and I need a drinking buddy. Would you like to go for drinks later?
Sure, man.
I will pay.
You don't have to pay for anything.
I lied. I don't have to pay for anything here.
Which is why you'll pay. Because he does.
Oh, really?
The employees do not drink for free.
Well, I'm literally going to go right now. Do you want to come with me?
Sure thing.
Not even new.
Let's go.
Wonderful.
They're dwarves.
Cool. So you guys go up to the
They're dwarves. I said they're
drawers.
yes, they're drawers.
You see Greg manages to rustle up a baby Bjorn for you. So you can attach Alec. It's one of those little cradle things. So Alec is attached to a baby Bjorn. And you guys head to the bar. You guys have not been. Are you going up the mountain for that, or are you going to the beach bar?
Up the mountain.
Up the mountain. All right. Dustin Dine or
The one where
The
kids got the
family
reading.
kids got the reading? That's the
Right.
Dustin Dine. So
Right.
right up at the volcano.
Ah, Smash.
That was even not table.
All right.
That
So
was
you
you,
do
actually.
manage to make your way out, and
You need to put it in kind of
you wait around. You wait around on the porch for a little bit. You do notice that there's a large sign. The signpost thing.
20.
A couple of people have gathered around, but you don't pay too much attention while you're doing it. You manage to climb up to Gus, and it takes you a couple of hours, but you do eventually get up there to go drinking. So we'll get right back to you. You guys wanted to go to the temple.
Yeah, I
I
was.
thought you were pointing at me.
I'm guessing signups have also started for the arena, so we could sign up.
Startups have started, yes.
So we could sign up everyone.
I'm
they
going
have
to do that.
You're going to do that?
Yeah.
Right. So Kizu, you make your way up and you sign up. There's a little bit of a crowd around the sign up board, but you do notice that there's not too many names. So you sign the 5 of you up though.
Oh, so kids already signed us up?
You sign the 5 of you up.
Fuck you.
Shyn and Charlotte.
I don't sign Baz up, by the way.
You don't sign Baz up?
No, I'm kidding. I'll sign back.
Shyn and Charlotte, you guys make your way in. Lorraine says they're totally clear this morning, so you're free to use the temple if you'd like to.
Okay.
And you do make your way there. You've got an hour in the temple.
Okay. As
always. What you guys doing with it?
I was going to try and contact her.
Okay.
I haven't told them who she is yet. So,
so that'll take an half hour to set up.
Okay.
Because you don't have religious practice. As a thing.
I can help.
You helping?
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll take 15 minutes.
Okay.
I need you guys to roll me a religion check.
Oh.
That is a 19.
19?
Can Tabik go with him? He probably won't help with this.
Yep.
He'll, put aside.
Yep, you can hang out. So Tabik, Shyn, and Charlotte are in there. So you guys managed to set up. You just hanging outside?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys managed to set up easy enough.
Mm-hmm.
It looks quite great. You put out the candles and the circle and rituals and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You meditate for a little bit. And there's a faint glow before a sword appears. And it's kind of hovering around above the actual altar. And it glows kind of like a light silver. And it isn't corporeal. Like, it's not properly there.
Yeah.
But you can tell it's there.
There?
It's like a hologram.
Yeah. Similar. Yeah. And you hear a voice in your head that says, yes.
What's up, pussy mama?
I'm surprised she's actually talking to me, because you guys had to ask questions. I seem to have found myself in a predicament. And I was wondering if you had any advice.
Right. There's like a little like beeping sound.
This message will self-destruct.
No, like a dial
It's in my
tone.
head.
Yeah.
That just got me.
Connection issues.
It's the Facebook
and
messenger tone.
It's
The
actually
sword
dial-up
glows
internet.
brighter for a second. Like it starts to pulsate slightly and then dims again. And there's no answer.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's still waiting for something else. It'll still answer a question, it just can't answer that one.
Okay. I forgot to plan things.
Ask her how her day is.
Yeah, that's true.
How are you doing?
Can I roll to see, like, we probably set it up specifically for that one person. Can I roll to see if I would know?
Sure, roll me a religion check.
Okay. Well, that's,
I mean, you could
10. That's
probably do it with advantage, seeing as you were helping him set up.
You know what? I will allow advantage based on your knowledge anyways.
That's an 11. Oh, wait.
I thought you rolled a crit one for a second. I was like, no, you fucking... This is on Lee again. An 11?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's okay.
The items that you put out, a couple of the symbols, they have to be done with knowledge of who is being contacted. Most of those Shyn handles, but you do manage to do a couple of them. You can tell it is a drow goddess of the drow pantheon, but the way it's detailed out, it doesn't seem like a proper drow goddess. Most of them are easily known. However, this one seems to be a little bit less part of the pantheon than it is
Adjacent
to the pantheon.
Sure.
Right, so it's part of the same religional view, but it's not part of the pantheon they hold in esteem.
Great, and I'm just gonna mind Shyn to his own business with his goddess, because I'm looking around.
Wonderful.
Are you actually gonna look at things this time?
I will.
What you looking at?
Everything.
Okay, there is a mural on the ceiling. There is like hieroglyphic pictures on the walls, and there are 2 large golden statues.
Let's look at the statues first.
Statues first. All right, roll me a investigation check.
Okay.
You know, you're giving me time to think of questions, but I'm still fucking blank.
Yeah. 11.
11?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your dice don't like.
So
No,
the first thing you
hold on,
notice,
Let's switch this out.
the first thing you notice
Okay,
is that
thanks.
they are ornate statues, but they're old.
Yeah, okay.
They've kind of got that look of. There's a couple of parts that have been dented or crumbly. A couple of parts that are
Don't let Bella touch your dice.
more rusted.
Guys, also that's really bad on the audio. You can hear it. It's really loud.
They're a little bit more rusted, a little bit more worn down. But they are a man and woman separately. The man, who is, now that you look at it, missing one of his hands. It's done in a silver gauntlet.
Okay.
Rather than the gold of the rest of the statue. He's also wearing a large helmet and kind of battle armor. There is emblazoned on his chest 3 lightning bolts. The woman who is next to him is dressed very similar. She's got the same dark battle armor, a long cape from her shoulders, 2 crashing waves crashing in opposite directions, emblazoned on the front of her armor. And she is wearing what looks like a diadem, which is similar to a crown almost, with a large white pearl in the center.
So it's Talos and his lady. Okay,
You can pretty much tell that, yeah.
cool. I'm gonna put on those glasses.
Are they like the old Michelangelo penises, or are they like
Oh my god.
What the
like
fuck?
are they like what style is it? Is it like that kind of-
Dressed.
Yeah, it
Are they
definitely
dressed,
looks a lot more ancient. They are dressed,
Oh, yeah.
but definitely the way that they are built, because you aren't there, I can't describe it too much.
Oh, yeah, I was
But
just like as a player. I was
Charlotte, you
wondering.
can tell that they are definitely an older model. A lot older.
Jason,
They use a
like,
lot of
hand
these
shapes
paintings
or
were not.
something?
Yeah,
These paintings
definitely,
were
like,
not done by
hand-chipped.
someone who hated the temple.
They're most definitely done in a way that is not the way that you've seen a lot of statues and stuff made nowadays. Right? It seems like an older technique.
Yeah, okay. Cool. I'm gonna put those glasses on.
Okay.
Do I see anything different with those statues?
Roll me a perception check.
Okay. Or anything like that. Oh no. These aren't good either.
Take out all your d20s
12.
and roll them at once. And
12?
Yeah, hold on. Let me try this.
Wonderful. Okay.
What did you roll?
A 7.
Oh, I thought it looks like a 1.
No, it's not a 1.
She'd have to have a plus 13.
Yeah, I was like,
That's
what
true.
the heck?
So, 7?
No, wait. 12.
12?
Yeah, 12.
Alright. So you don't notice too much different on the statues. Nothing quite changes. You do see, it's like shimmer to them, almost like the remnants of a spell that was at some point cast. They've got traces of magic on it, but it's like barely there. It's wisps. It's very, very long, detached from. You do notice, however, a small bunch of scales curled on top of the helmet of Talos. And it's small. Kind of a greenish color and scaling. And 2 large gossamer butterfly wings.
Okay. Don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. You want to go, or am I still going?
I don't even know what to do.
I can continue. I'm still looking around.
You could figure out what that thing is.
What?
Dragon, whatever thing.
The
Oh yeah,
It
you
wasn't a
could
thing,
figure
was
it
it?
out. Yeah,
It was a creature.
curled up
Oh,
on
it's a
top.
creature
creature.
turned curled
Oh.
up.
Creature with butterfly wings and green scales?
Green scale.
I'm just trying to
is it a
figure.
fairy dragon?
It is.
Oh, it is. Okay. Huh.
Wait, is this island like covered in fairy dragons?
I don't know.
We've had these true sight glasses the whole time, but nobody's used them until now.
Yeah.
Because the 2 people who have them like half
I
the time,
have them.
don't you?
No.
There's only one pair, and
Oh, yeah.
Charlotte's had them the entire time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my fault.
Charlotte has most of the gifts.
Yeah, Charlotte has most of the gifts and also forgets that she has them.
Yeah.
Why did we give the child the magic stuff?
Because I wanted the glasses.
Yeah.
And the floppy hat because she wouldn't take it.
Shouldn't. I don't think it would help.
Okay, so,
Unless it's magic.
do I really have to roll for a fairy dragon if I know if it's...
No, you know it's a fairy dragon.
Okay, cool.
That's pretty easy.
It's just chilling there?
Yep.
Okay.
It's just kind of curled up. It looks like it's napping.
Cool. I'm gonna go over to the hieroglyphics then.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a nice paintings, and it stretches around, but you can tell like there's an obvious starting point, and then it goes through.
Okay.
So you can roll me an investigation check.
Okay. 14.
14. All right. So you follow along with this story, and it starts off with what you can obviously tell is apparently Umberlee, this goddess of the sea that you now know of, and it tells what looks like the story of a battle, a very, very large battle, and you see pictures of giants and mountains and a couple of dragons circling in the air above. You see what looks like an army marching up towards them. You also see a ship as it makes its way across the ocean. You see Umberlee in her giant goddess form just rise out of the ocean itself, a swirling storm around it, and the ship is sunken. Then you see a bit of it has been like chipped away, almost. It's very, very, very old, and it's kind of been rubbed out, so you can't quite tell what it is. But it seems like a spell of some sort was cast, and Umberlee is all of a sudden on an island, and you see Talos, who rides in on a chariot from a storm, and it goes through a little bit more time, a couple of battles and heroes and storms and stuff, and then there's a section of it that's just between where the two statues are, that tells of their marriage, and then eventually it kind of branches off of the destruction thing and into the building of the island resort itself, and then it cuts off after a larger storm that sanctions up the walls of the island itself, and then there's a couple of feet left of stone. Like they've given enough space to etch some more stuff out if anything interesting happens, but that seems to be all.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be able to, like, did I understand it? Did I get...
You kind of, that's the way that I explained it is about what your understanding of it was. You're not quite sure what the first bit is about. You can't remember anything like that. Nothing that would have been that big at the very least. But you do remember a couple of these larger storms and battles that are mentioned later on, with the heroes and everything. A couple of those ring a bell. You've heard about those a couple of times, but nothing too exciting.
Would I be able to cast comprehend languages to read that?
It's not language, really.
Okay.
It seems to be a picture. If you know what the story was, it would make sense. But just looking at it itself, it's a little bit tough to string it together.
Okay. Are you going yet, or got one more?
I figured it out because you said I can only use my spells if they can reach me on an area, right?
Yeah.
So he's just gonna ask, will you or your brother be able to assist me in battle on this island?
There's a hum from the sword, and it starts to pulsate again. And there's a little bit of a light at the bottom that grows.
Mm-hmm.
And it dissipates, and as it does, the sword, starting from the actual tip of the blade and making its way up the hilt, begins to shimmer and fade away.
Mm-hmm.
And laid out on top of the altar is... percentile dice, please.
Oh, jeez.
Magic items.
That is an 80.
80. Okay.
What?
That's fun. Let me just find this then.
You don't know what it is?
I know what it is, but
Specifics?
yeah. It's a gem.
Okay.
Okay. Charlotte, roll me a d4.
D4?
no.
Okay.
I might know what this is.
You know a lot of stuff.
I know.
2.
There's a lot of really cool magic items.
Sat on top of the altar is a small yellow diamond.
Okay.
Both of our, like, I want it so I can cast things.
What?
I want it so I can cast
I'm
things.
guessing it's a casting item?
It is a casting item. So upon... Make me an Arcana check.
Oh, shit.
Let's see if you can actually tell what it is.
Shyn sucks at Arcana. Yeah, that's a 7.
Did I see it?
Yeah, you can see it.
Okay,
It's pretty big.
So can I make a roll?
Yeah, make an Arcana check.
Nat
20.
Nat 20. Yeah, you've seen these often.
Oh, hey, it's something.
So these are called elemental gems.
Okay.
So upon the crushing of the gem, it will summon a elemental that is directly proportional to the type of gem. So a yellow diamond summons an earth elemental.
Is Charlotte telling Shyn this or
Yeah.
no? Yeah?
Holy shit.
Okay,
Not
I guess
holy
It would have been
shit.
so funny if it was a fire elemental.
I guess I'll go over and pick it up and take it. I'm guessing that was a yes to some extent.
It's like, here, this will help.
What? Jason wants it to be a weird elemental.
It is an earth elemental.
Guys, no.
Okay. And do we have any time left?
Actually, go open my nose. I have to see.
Yeah, you have about 20 minutes left.
I don't really have anything to do with 20 minutes. Do you still have stuff to look at?
If we check out the mural,
Mhm.
and then we can try and talk to what's her name?
What's her name?
Yeah, what's her name?
Umberly?
Yeah, that.
Do we have time for that?
Maybe.
It's gonna
You'd
take
be
us.
cutting it close,
Yeah.
trying to get a thing.
It's gonna take
and
us.
you probably don't know enough to summon her properly. You can attempt to.
We could try.
Also, you'd have to clean up the ritual left behind. But afterwards, you can inspect the altar as well.
Is Tabik still sitting outside? Can we ask for Tabik's help?
Sure.
Who wants to ask? Because you have to tell me that you're doing this first.
Sure, yeah. I mean, yeah, I told you.
And I'm guessing we know that Tabik's standing outside, just like.
He
Okay.
probably told you he wants to do something.
Oh. He. Okay, I'm gonna pop my head out and look at Tabik and go,
Felt
do you think you could come in and assist us with something?
I guess.
Yes, we're gonna sacrifice Tabik.
We have
Summon a
better
fire
elemental.
elemental.
Yeah.
Sacrifice the fire genocide.
No.
Okay, so I guess I go in. Are you following me?
Slowly.
Slowly but surely.
You can hear Baz sacrifice.
Are you gonna explain your plan to Tabik?
Yeah, so, thing is, I came in here trying to talk to Talos yesterday, and I basically got told that I should be looking into his wife, Umberly, if that's her name.
Yep.
So, we're gonna try and do that.
Sure, I'll help.
Okay.
How long is it gonna take us to like clean up?
With the three of you, including Tabik as a cleric, I'd say like cleaning up would be nothing.
Okay.
It'll take about 10-ish
Ish.
minutes to set up,
Okay.
but you'll have enough time to perform a ritual.
Cool.
Religion check.
And you're going to do it with disadvantage for Shyn and Tabik.
Okay. That's a 5.
I rolled well before.
Yeah, you did.
11?
21.
Awesome, okay. So you guys concentrate together on Umberly. You two don't know a lot about her. After looking around the room a little, you know a little bit more. And you had heard of her before. With your nat 20.
But we also know that
No, it was... Oh, wait, yes.
Wait, don't we also know that she's assisting Talos?
Yeah, Tabik might know more about him because Talos thing. Remember?
Talos thing. Oh, yes.
Everything Kiza told us.
Yes. Fine, I'll let you pick the higher roll, Tabik.
Okay, so 20.
Yeah.
20?
It was a 16 plus 4.
Yeah. So you guys, between the two of you, you do manage to do so. What are you asking? What questions you leaving? Are you summoning? You can summon a picture. You can look into what the god is doing. You can try and contact them. You can leave some questions to get some answers.
Yeah, I want to get some answers.
Answers, okay.
Yeah, so... Why are they doing this? Well...
Why are they doing what?
That's a pretty broad question.
Sorry, okay. Crud. It's more like, do we know if she's being... Do we know if she's an ally or if she's being controlled by Talos? You know?
Oh. Jeez.
No, it's not. It has not been 2 hours. It's like
almost.
hour 40.
Might take a break.
That's what I'm
after
saying.
this.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
take a break after this.
Okay, so,
Did you expect us to take this long to get through the second day?
No,
yeah, okay.
I thought the Aerobics class was all that was happening.
I'm sorry.
We'll be fine.
So I was gonna do something last night, but then everybody flipped out.
does she want to help us in this endeavor?
Alright, so you're asking, is she an ally? Or under the
Friend
control
or
of
foe?
Talos?
Yeah, that.
And then you're asking if she can help you.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So there is a flash of light, same as before. The smell of, like, sea air. And it's very similar to the smell you guys had gotten yesterday. When the dead fish had appeared, the kind of rotting sea smell. But it's a little bit crisper, a little bit cleaner.
She's taking a bath.
And there is a sound...
And if I run out, I
like,
have 3 more.
the same kind of, almost like a tone call. Like if you'd called someone, they put you on hold for a minute.
Okay.
A dial tone?
Dial tone, yes. That.
Yeah, I figured that out after you said it last time. I was like, but it's a little late to bring that up.
There's a dial tone sound. And then a woman's voice filters through the air. Says, I cannot currently come to the message board. Please leave your questions on an altar of accessibility, and I will get to them at the call at the next moment. Thank you.
You've been put on fantasy hold.
And then you hear a little bit of like a reggae music starts to play.
You hear from across the island. Baby.
And then there's another click, and you get like a filter through. It's almost like a FaceTime, except it's very, very bad. It's a very bad connection, so it's like glitching and freezing sometimes. But you see what looks like a boardroom, and there's a selection of very, very neatly dressed women and men gathered around this thing. They seem to be doing like exercises, like team building exercises. And at the head of this table stands a shorter man, kind of like dreadlocks piled up into a bun on his head, and he is currently talking to a very, very lovely looking woman. She's got dark hair, dark skin, and very, very blue hair that's kind of cut short in a formal bob.
Okay.
She is dressed very sharply in a pantsuit, and she's got the crashing wave symbol done onto her like pocket.
Okay.
Sorry, don't.
And she is talking with this man at the front, and she's got a name tag on her that reads Umberly.
Okay.
and
Nice
she's
to
talking
know
with
even
this man,
gods
and
need
you
name
see a
tags.
couple of like pauses and stuff, and then there's no audio, but you watch as it seems like this dreadlock man is leading this class of business people in a like CEO manner. Like he's trying to. It's like an educational trip for CEOs, you know.
Okay.
Those like those classes they can go to where you like learn how to be a better leader, learn how to run your company better, that sort of stuff. That's what it looks like to you guys. And there is a flash on the table, and it's the same flash that you guys had seen on your altar here. And Umberline turns for a minute, and she glances down at it. She pulls out a pen out of her thing, and she begins to write. And as she begins to write in this image, you see ink begin to appear on your guys' thing. And there's no proper answer to the questions, but it says, Talos? ? What has my husband done this time? ? And then you see her click the pen, put it back in her pocket, snap her fingers, and the paper just fucking obliterates. And then there's a fizz. As you see the woman, she stands up once again. She kind of rights herself, and she excuses herself from the room and begins to walk out. And the image flickers and dies.
We should have seen who the other people were.
I would have liked to, yeah, but...
You can roll a perception check, see if you noticed any of them.
Okay.
All of us or just her?
I think it's
Is it just her that sees it?
Yeah.
Okay.
21!
21. Alright. It's your guys' fault for building these things, okay?
What do you expect us to do?
Listen to me.
I am listening.
Whatever.
I just I need
so
something
you
to fiddle with.
Don't know too many people around here. Like, you don't know who they are by sight. But they all seem to have name tags on. And you read a couple of ones that you're like, oh shit, I know them. Oh hey, it's that person. And it is a collection of gods and goddess. In what looks to be a board meeting.
Okay.
Like the CEO camps where you'd go to learn how to be a better leader, how to run your company better and stuff. You notice a couple of names. There's foremost, Miracle is sitting at one end.
Oh god.
He's in his same suit.
Someone hold me back.
He's sat next to two
You're not there.
equally very finely dressed
Someone hold Jason
men.
back.
Bane and Bahal
Fucking
etched into their name tags.
no.
Across the table sits a man, Hephaestus, and Zeus
Dead
is
for
sat
real.
next to him.
Fucking
Please, I hate this.
There is another woman farther down. She's probably the oddest looking because she's got the body of a spider and loaf on her thing.
And
I
what?
hate her so much.
Loaf
Lol?
on her name tag.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
But you do notice
she's
there
caused
is
him a lot of
quite
trouble
a lot
in
of
his life.
gods and goddess on this table,
On this board meeting.
Wait.
on this board meeting
So they're
class.
all like evil?
A majority of them don't seem to be nice. Zeus and Hephaestus are not like bad gods, but
Well-
it does seem that a lot more of the people around here are
Loth is
not
chaotic
the
evil.
best people.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like
now,
it's
sorry
like
I
real
couldn't
life
attend the
CEOs.
meeting.
Not all of them are evil, but a lot of them are.
Wow, I should just like burst in and
Actually-
like, hey.
Fucking hell, Jason!
That wasn't me! I literally went like this!
Yeah!
And I let go and then the table shook.
That was me.
That was
I put my leg up and it went whoop.
I fucking hate you.
All right, and with the dissipation of that image, we'll take a slight break here. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. When we get back, we'll be jumping into some more fun times.
Fun times.
Tabik stuff. Hopefully.
Do we have time for that?